Hello, future engineers. Today I'm going to be giving a quick tutorial on part 3 Tombstone over here. Now, as I mentioned before, this schematic, this drawing, will not look like the finished product. It's going to be a little different. So what I'm going to do to get this started is I'm actually going to draw this back face where the tombstone kind of occurs from. So let's go over to Inventor and create a new part. This part is in standard inches, and I'm going to hit create. To determine the shape that I'm going to draw, to start, I want the width right here, 5.5, and then I want to draw until I get to the center point of this circle. So to get up to that, I am going to use some dimensions and chain those together. We've got 2 right here and 3.25 here. So I'm going to draw a rectangle that is 5.5 by 5.25 to start. I'm using these combination of dimensions because we never dimension to the top arc of a circle. We always dimension to the center of a circle. So I'm going to grab this rectangle. I'm going to make this the 5.5 across and 5.25 in height. I'll go back over to my front view, and then you can see right here that the arc goes from side to side, and we can also figure this out. If we look at the radius right here, it's 2.75, which if we double the radius, we will also get our 5.5. So I need a circle that goes all the way from side to side. I'm going to grab my circle command. I'm going to go to the center point and draw this out until I get to the center over here. So I now have this shape, this shape. There's a hole that goes in the middle here. That's also a circle. I can draw that feature on as well. That's 1.25 and 1.25. There we go. Can hit enter. So there, I'm starting to draw this. I also could draw in that front slot over here, but I'm going to keep that from now. If you really want to, you could trim out all these, but I'm going to leave this untrimmed, go over here, and then hit extrude, and then I have to select the profiles that I want. I want this top profile, and this profile here. From this state, I have this back created, but I want to draw in this front rectangle. I'm going to subtract a second rectangle out of it later. To get the total width of this, it's 6 right here in our depth and 1.25 in our extrusion. Oh, I don't know if I extruded that right. I'll double click on the extrusion. Yeah, this should be 1.25 in the extrusion. Then I need to add on that front rectangle. So I'm going to start a sketch over here. I'm going to use that project geometry to trace my entire shape. So now I have these yellow reference lines that I can use. And I'm going to draw a line across this way. This line has a height of 2. So I'll use that. Finish sketch, extrude that bottom shape, and remember the total depth was 6, but I've already extruded 1.25. So I'm going to subtract 1.25 from 6 inside of Inventor, and it'll do that math for me. Cool. Now if I'm continuing on here, I'm going to draw in this square that has been removed. In order to do that, I'm going to start a 2D sketch on this front face. That's where I can see the square. And then I'm going to draw my rectangle off to the side here. This rectangle has a height of 1 and a width of 3.5. With this, I can now use my coincidence constraint and say the center point of this circle is the center point of this baseline. And I'll hit finish sketch. I'm going to hit extrude, and this does cut all the way through. So I want to make sure it's extruded all the way through. A lot of different ways I can do that. I'm going to click the through all and the subtract. There we go. So now the last thing that I need to draw are these 2 circular features. Both of them are a diameter of 1.25. The first one is 2 from the edge, and the second one is 2.75. This is where it's going to get a little tricky. So I'm going to start a 2D sketch on this front face, and I'm going to rotate this just so I can look at it from the same perspective that I had drawn. I'm going to take a circle. I'm going to make that 1.25. There's my circle. And then I'm going to draw another circle, 1.25. 0.25. Both of these happen to be right in the center of my drawing, which is 2.75. I'll do that for both of them. 2.75. Cool. But now, when I dimension these in the y-axis, and this first one is 2, and the second one is 2.75, you're going to see that they overlap. And that's actually the intended thing. As I said, this is not going to look exactly like we want it to. And that's just so I can check to see if you're reading the dimensions correctly and you're not just going off of the sheet and trying to make it look like the identical part. But from here, I've now subtracted out that shape. I can go over to my file, iProperties, physical, and update, and we should get these values right here. An area of 192.338 and a volume of 78.554. All right, that's all that I have. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.